Now in the final subtask of the password generator function, we will be actually generating the password based on the input given by the user. That is, we will be handling input and generating the password based on the input given by the user. If you saw previously, we did one or the other. We didn't do it together. So here we will be combining the two. And we all know what are the rules for this particular password generator project, as we saw in the previous subtasks. Coming to the code, it is pretty much the same as the previous subtask. That is, this entire part is the same. Now let's look at the change part of this particular subtask. That is the generator password method. In the generator password method, we're going to take in length, use special characters boolean, and use numbers boolean. And if length is less than 3, we're going to throw an error saying password length must be at least 3. As you recall, at the start of this project, we mentioned that we need the password length to be minimum of 3 because we need one alphabet, and the other two are for special characters or special numbers in case the user wants it. And now over here, we're going to create a string builder object. This will be our end project. This will contain our final result. And now we have a random object. Now, if you notice, if you generate any kind of password of any length, the first character will always be an alphabet. It cannot be a string value or a numerical value. That's why first, what we're going to do is we're going to give password.append string char caret random.nextInt string char.length. So what does this particular line mean? So we've seen this in the previous subtasks. What this does is, so over here, we'll be generating a random number which is going to be within the range of the length of this string char string, which will contain all the characters present in the alphabet. So we're going to give a random number within this range and the letter present at that particular index of the string. Let's say I get a random number of 3, and whatever letter is present at that particular index of the string, we're going to append it to the password variable. And now, after generating the first character, we're going to generate the remaining characters up to length minus 2. So if you remember, the length of the password which you have to generate would be of length minus 2. The reason we have given length minus 2 because the last two are reserved for special character or special number. That is why we have given length minus 2 over here. So let's say the length given by the user is 3. Then you can see if I is less than length minus 2 and we are starting at 1. Therefore, length minus 2 would be 3 minus 2, which is 1, and 1 cannot be less than 1. That's why this for loop wouldn't run at all. And you might be wondering, since we've already generated one alphabet over here, shouldn't it be length minus 3? That wouldn't be the case. This is because over here we are starting from I equal to 1 because we have already generated a letter over here. If we start from I equal to 0, then our password length would be 1 more than the input given by the user. Since we started at 1, it won't be the case. And now using this, we're going to generate a password of length n-2 only using alphabets. Now coming to the special characters and the use numbers part. So first we're going to check whether or not use numbers is true or not. That is, if use numbers, which basically means if use numbers variable is true, then we're going to append a random number from the number string. This is the same as what we did over here, that is appending a random letter from the alphabet string. Instead over here we're appending a random number from the number string. And if this is false, what we're going to do, we're going to append it from the string char string itself. That is, we're going to append an alphabet in case this is false. That is, if the user doesn't want use numbers, then we're going to append another alphabet. And it's going to be exactly the same for use special characters. If it's true, we're going to append a special character, or else we'll be appending an alphabet. And now we're going to convert the object into a string using password.toString. And in the main function, we're going to initialize our arrays and a scanner object. First, we're going to call the user input function to take input from the user. And then we're going to store the result which you get from the generate password function in the generate password variable. And we're going to print it out. And over here, we're closing the scanner to free up resources. Let's just run this code once. So let me give length as 5. And I'll give yes for special characters and no for number. So you can see I have one special character at the end. So you can see I have one special character at last with a random string generated. Let's just submit this code once. So we passed all 4 test cases. So that's it for our password generator project. Here are some additional exercises which you can try out using this particular project or separately. And this particular project was from our course Java Projects for Beginners, where we have 10 different Java projects from which beginners can get familiar with Java. And if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe head over to CodeChef and try this project out, or try out any other course which might interest you. And if you're watching this on CodeChef, great job diving into the solution. Move on to the next project. Thank you.